Okay guys, so I am going to give you as much Photoshop info as I can in this video as quickly as I can because I have to keep it under 10 minutes with this recording program that I have. So first off, what I want to say is I shoot in raw format on my camera. On any DSLR, I believe you can shoot in either JPEG or RAW. I shoot in both JPEG and RAW so that I can open up my computer like this and I can see these JPEG files and I can scan through them to pick which RAW files I want to edit, like these. These are the RAW files. They do take up more space and they're much bigger, but they hold so much more information. So when you open a RAW file into Photoshop, it comes up with this camera raw, and this is where you can edit everything: white balance, exposure, everything. Like this photo is too dark, bring up the exposure. You can totally darken it, you can totally brighten it, and totally correct any exposure problems you were having in camera. So once I bring up the exposure, I'm going to bring down the highlights because I don't like all the light it's brought in, because I do want this to be a darker edit. You see that's really affecting these light areas. See that? So turn that down. I'm going to bring up my shadows just a little bit to take these shadows out of her face, but still leave some so that there's enough detail to see facial features. I'm going to bring up the vibrance to play up on the blues. And I'm going to bring up the temperature a little. This way's cooler, this way's warmer. I'm going to go somewhere about here, I think. And I might bring up the saturation a tad, not too much because it tends to mess with the skin. And I don't want to mess with her skin colors. There's so much more editing you can do in RAW, but I'm not going to go there right now. So now we're going to open image. Excuse this. This is a session I'm working on for someone. People. Hold on. I didn't mean to do that. The session that I'm working on is for one of the families on the show, Swamp People, is what I was trying to say. You may recognize those little blonde-haired children. So, okay. Now you're going to crop it. This is your crop tool. I crop this to a 5:7 ratio. That's just what I'm doing at the moment. So you get your square where you want it. You press this check. Okay, it's been cropped. I like to zoom out to do that. Then I zoom back in. I get pretty close to the face. And this, oh, I should explain so much more. This is your actions window. If you go to Windows, you'll see it here, actions. If you uncheck it, you can't see it. If you check it, you can. This is where your actions will be. Whenever you save your files that Greater Than Gatsby sends you, you'll open up your actions window and click this menu. Then you'll click load actions, and then you will just go to where you have the actions saved, and you click them, double click load, and they'll pop up here. So that's how you'll get them open. Let's see, this right here is the Greater Than Gatsby set. So I'm going to start with my retouch. This is the retouch set. I always do iris enhance brightness. I'm going to do this at 100. Now it's going to open this here, which is a whole folder full of layer edits. This is what's going to do it. You don't need to mess with this. This is your layer mask. If it's black, that means nowhere on the photo has the edit on it. If you were to invert it, which you can do in Windows with Control-I, it will turn white and the entire photo will have this effect on it. That's not what you want. You want to come here and get your brush right here in this toolbar and make sure your color is white. Then you're going to come over to your eye. This is the opacity. This is how much of the effect you're going to put on. I put it at 100% just on this iris. So it's just going to lighten up that that part of her eye, okay? So next I'm going to go to eye whites, purify and brighten. You have to click them and press play to make them play. This will pop up pretty much with every action and tell you how it works. Just read it and press continue. Now I'm going to make my brush smaller, which you can do up here, size, but the way I do it is the bracket keys on Windows. You can make it bigger or smaller. They're the ones that are up by backspace. They close in and out. You can, I don't know how to show you Google bracket keys, I guess, because I can't really take a picture of the keyboard right now. Okay, so I'm just doing the whites of the eyes like that. Next I'm going to do iris shape light. Click it, press play. It'll explain how it works. I don't have time to read that because my video will cut me off. I'm going to go down to about 50%. Don't want to do that. I messed up. You can, if you mess up, go to edit, step backwards, or on Windows, press Control Z and it will take you back. I'm going to make my brush slightly smaller so that I can stay in this line. I just like to go under the pupil. I know I sound like a super person on speed because I'm trying to go so fast, but iris dark rim, press play. I'm going to leave it on the same 54% opacity, and you just trace this rim on the outside of the eye. Now I'm going to do lashes darken thicken, press play, read that, continue. I'm going to bring it down to about 20 and just do the lash line to bring out her lashes. Now I'm going to do iris soft sharpen, and I normally do that at about 40, 50, somewhere around there. Make it bigger, remember with your bracket keys, or up top. Now I've gone over the eyes. I'm going to come here to corrector, dark circles. You press play and this explains what to do. That's going to open up a new layer. This is your color palette. It's going to open up a dropper. You see the dropper on her forehead. What you're going to do is come in and pick the color. You want to change the dark circles under her eyes. I want to change this to this color, so I'm going to click here. Now that color is there, I press OK. It opens it up. I usually do this at 50%. Make my brush bigger. Make sure your brush is white on the black layer mask. These are all masks, and these are the layers. Okay, so you're going to go just right there and lighten up these bags. You don't want to make it unrealistic and take them away completely, but it is nice to lessen their whatever. Soften detail and porcelain for smoother. I usually do this one for children, and I usually do it around 50% opacity. You let it run. Sometimes it's going to take a minute because it is a lot of things in the action. You can see it working over there. Okay, so I'm going to make my brush bigger. It's important when you use these skin smoothing brushes that you don't go over any facial features. Don't go over the eyebrows. Don't go over the nostrils. Don't go over the eyes. I try to stay away from creases in the face. I don't want to smooth out anything that's going to make her look unrealistic. So, go through all these areas. And don't forget up here. Then I'm going to bring it down to about 30 and do the rest of her skin. Because you weren't focusing there, so it's already going to be a little blurry. And you don't want to entirely blur it out, because focus should be on her face, so her face will be sharper already. Okay, this hand tool right here in your toolbar, if you grab it and just move, it'll let you move everything. Now what I like to do is skin tone bashful. It's like a blush. All of these are skin tones and can be used like blushes and stuff like that. I just bring some color into her cheeks. I go down. I will do teeth, pearly whites, play that, continue. I usually do that around 31%. Do the teeth, lips, red, rosy. I also do it around 30%. So just trace her lips. You do this much neater, of course, but I'm in a hurry because I am trying to give you so much information at once. These are the hair brushes. I like to do All Colors Rich Impact. I like to play it, and I like to use it at 30%. And I use my hand just to move this. If you want to just switch to your brush tool, you can press B, and it will pull that up. So you don't have to keep going back to the tools. Now you're just going to brush it on again with the white brush. And sometimes when I use this and there's a headband, I just go right over the headband as well and bring out the details in that too. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my zoom in.